Peter?
Yes, I think you can see that the steel is going up. The crane's been moved to the other side. The road's been rerouted. And we think it's working well. When they're doing the picks over the building, meaning picking up the steel, we do have to close down that, what do you call it? The corridor?
Pedestrian tunnel.
The pedestrian tunnel. Okay, that's what we're calling it today. And that's been working pretty well. They're doing it at times when it's not that busy. I think we mentioned at the CIC meeting that we had 5,700 some passengers the Sunday after Thanksgiving, which is close to a record. So that's a good sign. We're going to talk, you're going to see some furniture today. Sari's been working with Kathy on that. We have a couple slides to show you. That's been progressing. We've had meetings on the down below in the B concourse where there's a children's area. We're borrowing some Adirondack themes, and we're going to be taking a trip to Tupper Lake to see their museum because they're helping us with those themes. The financial reports, Margaret's revised the presentation a little bit and also the report, and I think you'll find that very informative. Otherwise, I think you're in for a good presentation today.
Great. Thank you, Peter. Any questions? Okay, we'll move right on to reports. COO John.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Peter did an excellent job of introducing the project, and he took a lot of my wind out of my sails.
Sorry.
But I will add that within the next few days, we'll be starting to work on the business center, the children's play area, and the sensory room. They will lock down the business center and cordon off those other two areas. John LeClaire is doing logistics analysis to get all the materials that have been ordered and ready for delivery into those three areas. So the construction work should progress very quickly. Peter is totally correct on how well the tunnel worked. The news is that this is the last day they'll be utilizing that process. So Midwest rectors worked very well with us. Very little interruption, really no inconvenience to the passengers to stay. So our next major focus, which John will probably cover in greater detail, is we're going to look at the canopy. We from an erection steel point of view, we've understood and we've scheduled out the full erection of the entire terminal connector, and now our team's going to focus on the canopy. And schedule is very critical there. And once again, we have to protect the curb for our passengers from the ticketing side to the baggage claim side. So John will talk about that in a few minutes. On Concourse A, we're going to do the steel infill. As you may recall, there's a large floor area that is going to be infilled with steel to create a larger area for those new gates, the two new gates that we're adding. So that work is to start December 8th to December 19th and progress very quickly. And once that work is done, the Concourse A work, all the physical work will proceed very, very quickly. And on other matters, as you may recall, the authority will be moving its offices back to the administration building. Last month, the board signed the lease with Commuter Air. And we were working with Commuter Air. We're scheduling the move for beginning in February. And so it'll probably occur between February and March of next year. But once again, our entire staff will be together working as one unit in that former location where the administration building was previously. And if you have, that's all I have for my report. If you have any questions, I'd gladly answer them.
Do have one question, John. So when that move is completed, the temporary offices will be disassembled. We'll be able to open this observation deck back up to the
Yes, correct.
Perfect. Thank you.
One other quick question. Will any art be moved back in, or is that planned for you? Sorry, I don't mean to put you on the spot. There's always been some sort of art installation.
The short answer is yes. The answer is yes.
In the observation.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Yes. I'm very excited to present artwork to the public again in a public-facing setting, and we'll work with the team to figure out the timing for that, so that I can begin to.
Good news.
Any other questions? Okay, CFO, Margaret.
Thank you. Good morning, Mr. Chairman. As Peter stated, I revised the financial report. If anybody has any questions, please let me know. And I'll jump right into the slides. Monthly employments, as I stated before, September and October were the highest. November was down a little bit, but that's because of the late holiday for November, Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving falling at the last weekend of the month. We had some high employments in December, so it'll help December a little bit, but it's just the timing difference. FBO gallons are down a little bit. It's just, the variance of different customers taking their fuel. Operating revenues, again, had a budget. Parking revenues are a little bit lower than I would expect, but we had some closures in the garage due to caulking work, which pushed people to the lower price lots. The rental car revenues are doing as expected. Operating expenses came a little bit above budget. Yeah, we have the ongoing expenses with the front of the terminal for the curbside security. Operating net profit with the FBO and the airport. The FBO was a little negative this month, again, due to the lower fuel sales. Year-to-date operating revenues are ahead of budget. Operating expenses are a little bit below budget, which is where we want to be. Line of credit draws, we just have one draw out there outstanding for $3.1 million. And the status of the airline agreement, we may have a meeting next week. We're waiting for the airline's comments on the draft red line that we sent them. That's to be determined whether we're gonna have that meeting or that'll be in January after the airlines, they have to send the agreement through their legal process, which could be a couple months.
Thank you, Margaret. Any questions? Right, thank you. Project development, John and Matt.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So, as Peter and John alluded to, the terminal checkpoint work is going forward. The steel is tentatively on schedule to be, all the steel erection work is to be completed by the second week in January. And then the crane will move over and move out of there. In the meantime, MLB continues working on pile caps. They've got a couple of grade beams they've got to put in, and then they'll be going in to start doing the framing and put the pans are down, put the rebar down, do the floors, the concrete floors. So we're getting ready to pour those. In the meantime, as they alluded, John said, they're down. They have mobilized down in the lower B section for the child's play area and the sensory room. They have the rooms cordoned off, and they're working on staging their material. And then we're gonna get with them this week. We'll set them up to close the business center probably Thursday. And then they'll have access to that, and they'll go in and start to work on that. All the materials have been ordered, so we're in good shape with that. Concourse A, going fairly well. There's another concrete pour scheduled this week. It looks like the weather may play in our favor. We're hoping to get the concrete pavement where the jets sit. That's on the outside. They did pour the foundations for the new passion boarding bridges. They also poured the foundations for the jet blast wall along the outside. So when the planes push back, they won't pepper cars with rocks. Good idea. Yeah. And then, okay, so then the replacement of boarding bridges A6 and B6. I've been in contact with VRH, who's the contractor was awarded the job. We're expecting delivery of those bridges, A6 in March, and then B6 right after that. And we're trying to push for, VRH is actually going to do the erection for JBT Oshkosh for the two new ones too. So they'll be here on site. We're hoping to just jump them right around and put them 1 and 2 right after they do A6 and B6. So that would be nice. Then we have them all, we're all in and ready to go with that. Runway 119, pavement rehab and lighting. We actually have a meeting with Callahan today at 11 o'clock. There's some additional lighting work, as I told the board last meeting, that with the threshold lights for the FAA's Mauser system. So we're meeting with them to discuss how to time that, how to get that scheduled in. They also have to go out and pop all the in-pavement lights that are out there, which are just under 200 of them, and measure. They have to measure down before they come in to do the milling. They have to measure down for the riser pieces. You have to pre-order them. So we're going to have a long discussion with them today, figure out their schedule. They're still looking to come in right after Memorial Day, to somewhere between the day after Memorial Day, which is Tuesday, to June 12th. So they're going to look for a 7-day closure window, Janet. So I'll let you know when we get there. we'll get you out there. It'll be a lot of fun to see that. Everybody will know because there'll be dump trucks all over the place. You'll know when we're there. Air traffic control tower. This one's going to be. This should be the last time we have to look at this. The 2 fan motors. I just got confirmation over the weekend from Colette that the 2 fan motors are being delivered today. So they're hoping to get in there in the next couple of days, put those in, and then the only thing left is balance the system and get out of there. So that'll be good. Main terminal elevators. Those are being shipped. Elevator number 11 is expected here the second week in January. They'll start on that one, and then we'll just continue our work around. In the meantime, I'm working with Kone and an architect to take elevator number 7, which is in the loading dock. We're going to make that bigger and almost a freight elevator. It'll have a 5,000-pound capacity, and it will take a full pallet jack with a pallet and a person on it, so it'll be big enough to basically act as a freight elevator. It's about 500-pound light on regular freight elevator capacity, but 5,000 pounds pretty good. We don't do that much. It's mostly concession stuff to get up and down on that. GA Apron had another meeting with McFarland Johnson on that one. The design's going really well. They submitted the construction safety phasing plan to the FAA, which they're currently reviewing. We expect to have their comments back this week. And once we get that, we'll adjust that and then get that back for final approval. In the meantime, McFarland's working on 90% plans, which we will turn into the FAA before the end of the year, as right on schedule, and get that done. So keep that one moving. And then on Common Grounds, that looks good on the outside. It looks even better on the inside. The finishes are in, the countertops are in. They're just waiting for equipment. Mike Hoover, who owns Uncommon Grounds, is expecting his some of his equipment to come in on the 16th of December, and then he's hoping to get the rest of it within a week, but he doesn't know yet. The equipment is long lead times on some of this stuff, but he's dying to get open. He's ready. The inside of it looks really, really good. Great. And then the Mauser lights, again, like I said, we actually, Connor and I had a call with the FAA ATO, which is the department that handles Mausers, and we're still pushing to get them to replace our Mauser system. In the meantime, there's one of those poles like that, doesn't look like that. It's in pretty rough shape. It's band-aided together. I helped the FAA's local tech ops guys get the parts they needed so they can repair that and keep it up and running, so we don't lose our category 2 abilities, which is low visibility. When the fog is in the area, we can take the low vis planes. Any questions, I'll happily answer.
All right. Any questions? All right. Thanks, guys. Council, Chris.
Nothing to report. Thank you, Chairman.
Okay. Thank you. All right. Concessions and ambassador program. Helen.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. On the concessions, we have 124 employees, with 75 of them are minorities, which is a 60% representation, which is very good. Our revenue for October on the 3 primary contracts topped $1.5 million, which gives us $11.34 per person spend. John shared the information on Uncommon Grounds, so that'll be hopefully coming together by the end of the month. They have people in badging and training, and hopefully we should be open mid-January is the thought. On the ambassador side of things, of course, they've been very busy. We've been bringing on some new ambassadors. Our marketing program with that has actually been fairly successful. The canine interactions are extremely healthy with over 50,000 people who are just absolutely enjoying and relaxing with the dogs. The volunteer hours topped 8,700, and we're topping well over 80,000 personal assists with our ambassadors helping people. Also, tomorrow is our annual airport and ambassador holiday luncheon at the Desmond, and of course, everyone's welcome. Just let me know. Thank you.
All right. Questions for Helen? Thank you, Helen. Public affairs, Steve.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. On the communications front, over the last few weeks, just some media on the Allegiant flight going to Sarasota. A lot of interviews, both on TV, radio, regarding holiday travel. I put passengers in parentheses there just to some of this, it's easy for me to talk about getting here 2 hours early, but some of the interviews were from passengers, and overall, passengers were really happy with the experience during the holiday travel. Construction updates, the Avella flight to Concord, some coverage on Treasure Map, that's the new art installation coming here. Suet Kim was a pretty remarkable man. He was a pilot who volunteered to fly rescue dogs. He was en route to Albany and unfortunately crashed in Wyndham. I put this up there because it made national news, specifically how he was a regular at Millionaire, and one of the dogs passed away, and they were able to fly the ashes of the dog to Suet's family. So to get some news coverage here at Millionaire with that, and actually made APs. United flight incident. Last Friday, a United plane was pushing back and the nose gear collapsed. Thankfully, it was nothing serious. And I know while it's not positive news, I bring it up because the board should know that it was a really impressive response, not just from ARC, but the airport operations team who were immediately out there. You can see in the lower right-hand photo, these are our firefighters taking passengers off the plane, got them inside on a very, very cold day, and got them rebooked on their way to those. So, then the last is Avella let us know that they're going to be extending their schedule. So we got some media coverage on that. They'll be extending their schedule to September, which is our flight to Raleigh and Concord. A lot going on social media as always. Special liveries. The top right-hand photo was the latest post. It's a little campaign we're getting out there. There is a passenger who was missing their travel companion, so we want to try to reunite that passenger with their teddy bear. So we got that going on right now. Just a lot going on social media. You know, the extended schedule, ambassadors, acknowledging them on International Volunteer Day, and some other things. Pointer, the app clip is live. We're going to be doing a soft launch. Right now I'm working with Kathy and the team, the marketing team at Pointer, to do some signage where we're going to put it throughout the terminal. And we're looking at a press event with Pointer staff and the CEO sometime in January. Construction updates, obviously just consistent with our messaging, putting out our videos and things to let people know what's going on, especially as it related to that hallway where there are periodic closures. Social media insights over the last 90 days, got a reach of 1.2 million on Facebook, 81 posts and engagement at 246,000. Instagram, 15,000 reach, 43 posts, and 898 on the engagement. I just noticed the other day that we've surpassed 16,000 followers on Facebook. So it's a process. We're continuing to grow, just trying to work with engagement and trying to figure out those algorithms so we can boost our numbers. And just continuing to update the website, the newsroom as needed. With that, I can take any questions.
Great. Questions for Steve? Thank you, Steve. And art and culture, Kathy.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So on Wednesday, I'm excited to be joined by Sari and Peter on a trek up to the Wild Center at Tupper Lake to visit them in their winter time abode as we develop this children's play area. The Wild Center is a key partner in that, and so we will be touring, meeting the executive director and her team of designers and installers and fabricators, and also the artist Dave Fadden, who will be working on a substantial part of that project with us. And so that will be on Wednesday. And then I wanted to just give a brief update on the terminal furniture. I heard some really terrific feedback from the board about the initial presentation of the furniture. And so what has been communicated to us and then subsequently to Quality Office Environments is that we're seeking chiefly comfort for our passengers, durability, of course, attractiveness, standardization. We're trying to, in the initial presentation, there were many, many different kinds of models of furniture pieces. So, and also lots of different upholstery. And so we're trying to reduce those down and keep it simple. And so they are working with us on that. Safety, of course, and also convenience with electrical connectivity wherever possible, single and small group seating, privacy seating options. This was something that Peter and John shared, that there are furniture pieces where people can have a lot of kind of enclosure. And it's something that, especially post-COVID and also in noisy environments, that furniture companies are increasingly producing for environments like this. And so we're seeking some of those options, especially for noisy cold areas. And accommodations for families, infants, toddlers, and special needs children. So this extends beyond the new children's play area development to other areas in the terminal. We want to really keep in mind that a lot of our passengers are young families and have needs that adults and business travelers may not. So we're trying to accommodate those as well. And I think that for specific furniture examples, I have more images than anyone really wants to spend time looking at right now.
And I've shared some of
And so I'm working with Sari on that, and I'm happy to share any of those outside the meeting. But this is an ongoing process, and I think we're very successfully working on that so far. I'll take any questions.
No, I think the other thing that I would add to that would be that, we have some furniture in this airport that is good. And we're trying to also coordinate and ensure that we don't, there's no waste, that we don't replace furniture with different furniture where we can still maintain the quality. And I also think by going with the products that the airport has always used will ensure efficiency and durability and comfort and backs for and what will be added that I don't know that we have, I can't speak to throughout the whole airport, is there will be accessibility for everybody, just plugs in the minute they get to the airport. So that's being added really to everything, not just the business center. People will have an opportunity to charge before they get on the airplane. So I think we're in great shape, and I think once everything is finalized, then we can share images with everyone.
Very big upgrades. Thank you. Appreciate the work you guys are doing. And any questions for Kathy? All right. Thank you. That'll bring us into action items. We'll start with 10.1, Margaret.
Thank you again, Mr. Chairman. Item 10.1 is for purchase of diesel fuel that we use at vehicle maintenance at Millionaire. We buy this off of New York State OGS procurement contract. The awarded vendor is Dual Fuels, and it's for the term ending August 20th, 2026.
Questions? Take a motion.
Move to approve.
JR, second. Steve, all in favor? Aye. Okay. Thank you. 10.2, Chris.
Thank you, Chairman. This is an item that comes before the board annually. It's a request to approve our annual insurance premiums. As you'll recall, the board approved a change to our broker as the contract was expiring with Alliant, who was our prior broker at the end of this year. So we've moved to our broker of record, which is Risk Strategies. And upon that approval, they went out and did an analysis on all of our different various coverages. We also reviewed, and I think you'll recall, our general liability / aviation liability, which is currently placed with Apports, with us as a named insured. After a review of the market, by going out under our own policy versus going out under a named insured under Apports, we came to the conclusion that it was in the best interest of the airport to go under the Apports model as we move forward. So we don't actually see a tremendous increase over the course of last year. Last year, our total was about $938,000. This year, and as you can see, Margaret put in a not to exceed of $989,000. That's because we have all of the final numbers in with the exception of AvPorts, which we won't receive until the 12th. So we wanted to get that before the board. That number that is plugged in is well above what we expected to come in at. I think we believe it's gonna come in no more than 165,000 for the year. So we'll be below that $989,000 mark. And with that, I'll take any questions.
Questions for Chris? Take a motion to approve.
Move to approve.
JR, second.
Second.
Sari, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you, Chris. Okay, no change orders, no federal state grants. 14, Margaret.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Item 14 is to review and approval of the authority's procurement, contract guidelines, operative policies, petty cash accounts, and instructions, which we call our procurement guidelines. They were last reviewed on December 4th, 2023. And the New York State Authority's Budget Office requires that we review and disclose these annually if there have been any changes. There have been no changes at this time, and I recommend approval of the procurement guidelines.
Okay, questions for Margaret on the procurement?
Just a comment, Mr. Chairman, just, you know, in Appendix A in the guidelines, just, you know, consistent as it's been, Margaret said there's no changes. The expenditures over $50,000 have to come to this board. So for all spending. So I just want to draw attention to that, make sure that, you know, we reiterate that fact. So I'll make a motion.
You have motion Tom, second Sari, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Any old business or new business? Okay, at this time, I'll entertain a motion to go into executive session to discuss a matter involving the employment history of a particular individual and a particular corporation or corporation. Steve? Second Tom, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Okay.